There's a lot of talk these days about writing a full-length book with ChatGPT. Many people try it, but as someone who actually managed to write a full-length book with ChatGPT, I think there is only one really ingredient that you need in order to do that. My name is Eran BY. I'm an Israeli scriptwriter, and today I want to talk about how I wrote a full-length book in English using ChatGPT. And like I said, there's many people who try to do that, and most of them try to do it from scratch. They say, ChatGPT, give me an idea, then take the idea and write a synopsis, then break it down to episodes, and try to write the full book like that. From the examples or books that I've seen that was written in that way, I think we still have a long way to go until ChatGPT will automatically could write a book. But as I discovered, if you give it a script, a full-length script that was already written, then it gives a very good result. I guess at this point, some of you will probably stop seeing that, saying to themselves, why? What? I need to write a full-length script in order for ChatGPT to turn it into a book? What's the point in that? So for those of you who look for the easy way, this video is not for you. But for other scriptwriters, especially non-English scriptwriters like myself, I think this is great news. Because I guess many of you wrote at some point, like myself, a movie, a script for a movie that was either sci-fi, fantasy, horror, action, and discovered somewhere along the way that Hollywood is really far away, and we don't have enough money to produce such genres in Israel, for instance, or in other countries. So for instance, I took a script that I wrote like almost more than 10 years ago, and it was like an action, sci-fi, virtual reality kind of script, and I couldn't do anything with it until now. Now we have like a technological new way in order to take, for instance, the script that I took the script that I wrote and I transformed it into this book. You can see it's a real book. So, so I think it's like a great news for all scriptwriters in general. Specifically, speaking for myself, I can't write an English book. I need someone to translate and someone to rewrite. And this is what's new about the ChatGPT revolution, co-writing integration that I discovered. So if you want to know how I did it, let's dive into the computer and I will show you. Like I said, I started with a script that I wrote a few years ago. You could even see it's like it was many years ago. It was actually something that I wrote about Second Life. For those of you who remember what was that, it was like the old Meta before the Meta existed. And as you can see, I wrote it even in Hebrew, in my language. And then after a few years, I tried to push it forward, and I used Google Translate in order to translate the script. Take your script and break it down into episodes. It's like, you know, scripts are made of scenes, but books is made of chapters or episodes. So you need to break down your script into chapters. And obviously, you know, it's like if you're a storyteller, you also know that you need one chapter to start in an interesting dilemma or an action, and end up with a sort of a cliffhanger or some sort of an insight of your hero. So in general, I took the script and obviously went to ChatGPT. It's important to say that use the 4 model, because the 3.5 turbo is not good enough. I called it Orson, the simulator, obviously. I name the bot Orson as an homage to Orson Scott Card, just an homage. And the one thing, the first thing that I did is like I prompted it. I told it, you know, what's his genre, what is the thing that he needs to do. My prompting was very thorough. It included a lot of things, not just what is specialty and what kind of genre that he is writing, but also like technical stuff. Now, I'm not going to give you the entire prompt because I've worked a lot on it, and it's kind of my expertise, this prompt. But I can say that I have a few tips. First of all, it's like you need to be structured and thorough. I think you're talking to a machine, so you need to tell it what it's writing, what the story is about, what are the characters, what the input needs to be. It's like, for instance, script is written in present tense, and in literature, in books are written in past tense. So you need to tell it to make this adaptation. So prompting was not something. It's like ChatGPT is not at the point that it just, you know, I'm pasting full episodes and it just run on it. It's not. We're not there yet. It's actually, I think you better paste it, you know, bit by bit. It's like 200, 300 words each time. And at the beginning, the prompting was kind of, it didn't do it good. So I gave it a sort of a feedback, and then it got better until I got to a point where he wrote things that I felt was good enough. Let's see. So you can see, I kind of feedback it. You did it great, because finally he wrote something that I thought was okay. And then, as you can see, it's like I give it a few instructions, and then just paste the text from the script, okay? And then it gives me feedback. Let's go back to the words so you could see. For instance, let's see what's the input. The input is written as a script. Forgive me for I'll let Word read it aloud, but because of a glitch in Microsoft, it's a robotic narrator and not nice voices they used to have until a few days ago. I hope they'll fix this glitch. So this is what my script is sounds like.
Camera glides over the modern city skyscrapers. It swoops down through the roof into one of the buildings, integrating within its infrastructure and coming out through a communications cable onto a computer screen on which a logo is flickering. The frame opens upon a standard clerical office space. Large windows overlook the dark night outside, at the center of which shines a large round moon. Suddenly a man comes flying from the sky and clings to the window with some sort of special gear. He is situated at the very center of the full moon. With a firm hand, he marks a large circle on the glass with a sophisticated acid spray. The camera rises a few floors upwards, entering the room of Abu Nidal.
As you can see, it's written as a script. I mean, there's a camera doing that, this, and this is not how literature is written. So let's see how the adaptation of ChatGPT worked. So this is the script, and this is the output. As you can see, instead of a scene heading, you have chapters, and let's hear what is the literature adaptation that ChatGPT did for me.
In the inky blackness of the Shanghai night sky, a figure cut through the air like a phantom. Stone, a seasoned assassin in his mid-40s, was a tall and imposing figure, every bit as rugged and determined as the chiseled lines of his face suggested. Dressed in black from head to toe, his lean, muscular form betrayed a lifetime spent honing his deadly craft. His dark eyes were cold and unwavering, the kind that had stared down death 1,000 times before. He swooped down through the cityscape and landed, clinging to the glass window of a towering skyscraper with the high-tech suction device affixed to his gloves. With precision, using a sophisticated acid spray, a tool capable of melting through even the strongest glass with ease, he traced a perfect circle. As the circle fell away, Stone slipped into the building with the grace and stealth of a ghost.
As you can see, it's not the same, because I also prompted it the description of Stone, the hero of the book, and I told it to first refer to it and then continue with the plot. But if you can see, if you could see, for instance, the second scene about Abu Nidal room and this section here, you could start seeing the resemblance. So in most cases, actually just kind of adapted or converted the script style writing into literature style writing, and in some cases I also prompted it to add at the beginning of chapters, for instance, description of characters and places. In this way, I think when ChatGPT is working on a pre-written script, it can also make things that it can't do alone. For instance, dialogue. It doesn't write dialogue well, and there are many other things that he's kind of too conservative, not really creative, and not really interesting, or even naughty. That's not the character that he has right now. But based on a pre-written script, it could be way better. For instance, I want to show you what happened in chapter 4 and the adaptation of a dialogue, for instance. As you can see here, this is the script. As I told you, I break it down into episode. It's like episode here and chapter there. Again, I'm a script writer, so I'm used to episode. But for instance, look at this description of the scene.
In a huge, wonderfully designed church, a large audience is standing round a bride and groom about to be married. The groom is a wolf-like avatar, hairy and sleek, while the bride is dressed in a sexy white dress with unbelievably large breasts and a raised S. She looks like the porn version of the bride. Between the two is a minister who looks like Ozzy Osbourne, who is the middle of a pathos-laden speech. Minister. And if there is anybody in this fucking world, or in the fucking world beyond, who has any fucking reason why these two should not join in fucking mirror holy union, let him spill his guts right now, or forever shut the fuck up.
And let's see how ChatGPT transform this section into literature.
Elaborately designed church, a large audience gathered around a bride and groom about to be wed. The groom, a wolf-like avatar named Prudent, was dressed in sleek, black fur, while the bride, Aphrodite, was adorned in a sexy white dress, with unbelievably large breasts and a raised S, resembling a porn version of a bride. The minister, who looked like Ozzy Osbourne, was in the middle of a pathos-laden speech. And if there is anybody in this fucking world, or in the fucking world beyond, who has any fucking reason why these two should not join in fucking mirror holy union, let him spill his guts right now, or forever shut the fuck up, the minister said.
So as you can see, I also managed to make ChatGPT curse a little or write foul language, which is also an achievement, a notable achievement in the process. But again, it's like you can see, it takes what's written in the script, which is something that he won't do. Okay, it won't do that. He won't write such a dialogue. He won't write such a minister saying those things. But because I prompted it to say, instructed it not to change one word of dialogue, then he keeps that and he just turns it from script to literature. Okay, so in that way exactly, piece by piece, but in the end, it's like it was, I got a full document, a file with all the story written as a book. And then I didn't stop there. I took an American line editor and proofreader to go on the entire book and rephrase things and change things and make them more human. And the result is this book. in the description, you could I will add to the description links to the book and also to the original script that if you want to see the difference, you could see that for the entire thing. And I'm proud to say that I tested the text I took from the book in all sorts of measurement tools that check if it's written by AI or human, and I got 99.98% it is written by human. So it doesn't feel, when you read it, as an AI written book. It feels like a human written book, although it was written originally by human in Hebrew and then translated by a machine and then converted or adapted to a literature, to a novel by ChatGPT. And again, it was line edited and proofread again by a human in the end of the procedure. By the way, I also designed the cover of the book with, the image was curated in Midjourney and the design itself was made in Canva. So this is another way to save money. I also working on my next books. For instance, this is a project that's actually I'm going to produce later on this year, but I still turn it into a book because also the subject itself is let's say it's written by human, it's created by human, written by AI about an AI-human relationship, but also like another animation script that I wrote and it's still far away from production. I also am turning into a book. So I feel this is like great news for scriptwriters all over the world, especially non-English scriptwriters who can take their scripts that they've written, especially in tough genre to produce, like I said, fantasy, science fiction, horror, that cost a lot of money to produce in our territories. And in this technological way, we could transform it into a book and publish it and breathe life into it. And I must say that it's also like, it was very thrilling for me to hold physically creation, because, you know, once we have DVDs, but today it's like just a file on the computer, there's just the poster. So it also was very exciting getting this book from Amazon. I guess by now some people will ask, but what's the point? I wrote a script. I want it to be a movie. So for that question, I have two good answers. First of all, like I said, potentially this is the only way that you could give life to your creation, because if you live in a territory that science fiction and fantasy are too costly to produce, then you almost can't do nothing with your script. So at least it will be a book. That's one reason. The second reason is actually it doesn't interfere with producing a movie. If you write a book, that's totally different field, and you could still make the movie. And sometime if the book is successful, then your chances of making the movie is even bigger. Then I plan to make other project, actually take about 8 scripts that I have that I really love and didn't yet produce, some of them because they're too costly, and gonna turn them into books. If you wanna read more about the process and see more examples and have also useful links, you could in the description get to my site, which I wrote in English, an article describing exactly what I did, so you could check it out. It's in the description. Also, another important question is, do I have the right for this book? Because if you check, following the Kashtanada case, I guess most of you know what it is. According to the US Copyright Office, if something is written by an AI, you don't have copyright for that. But because it's based on a script of mine and was line edited in the last phase, I have a case according to my lawyer. So now I'm in the process of filing for a copyright registration for this book, but I will update on that in a later video.